Let's talk about project one more. Project one. We have our glossary of form. And our glossary of technique. The goal of these projects is to make sure that we are speaking the same language in terms of artistic ideas so that we can interface about how to improve on those things. But I hope that for your project, you do something interesting. And figuring out the idea side of art is oftentimes much more difficult than the actual act of just sitting down and drawing. So let's talk about how to do that. There's a couple of techniques I like, and I like requiring pre-production for my students because it's a way to make sure that they're thinking through the idea rather than just doing it at the last minute. So this is one way of doing it, which is a mind map, which is just think of everything that could come out of this. So glossary of form, basically it's basic shapes. But can I do something more interesting? One option would be a still life. You can set up a still life and literally draw that. What is a still life? It's a bottle and an orange and a plate and I don't know, something else on there. All those are simple objects, going back to our construction ideas. So in the same way, that works. Set yourself up a little still life. You can do a site-sized drawing of it. But also, what if you want to do something more interesting? Monsters. I love spaceships as well. What if you don't want to label all these things, or you want to have this be sort of off-grid? Maybe you want to make a pure illustration. And then label it with sticky notes. Maybe you want to make a Pokemon. As long as we can see some of those ideas of core shadow, contact shadow, it's good for me. Maybe you want to make something abstract. Can we confront the idea of what form even is? Similarly, for the glossary of technique, how can we make this a little more interesting? Maybe I had one student last quarter do this as a series of cards. How can we break away from the idea of this format entirely? What if it's actual cards? What if you made a tarot card deck of the glossary of techniques? I previously had a student do a flip book. Ooh, what about something where you animate it? Or alternatively, straight up grid. These are honestly not the most creative things to do for a project in art, but I can't function if you guys don't know what we're talking about, you know? So this is the next stage of this, which is just draw some thumbnails. Maybe you have an idea and you want this poster to be vertical or horizontal. What if you wanted to do it as a tapestry scroll? That would be cool. Ooh. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to visualize what would this look like as a poster that I saw across the room. And maybe it's like all these are right here. Glossary. Technique. Maybe I want something where maybe it's like a radiating pattern. I got something like that. Can I make it visually interesting? That's always my question. What does it mean to draw something and make it look cool, you know, which is different from making it look good. I like this idea of like radiating boxes, but they're not all the same size, you know? Can I add any sort of organic quality into this that I like, you know? Look around your house at interesting poster ideas. Look on the internet. Don't necessarily go with your first thing. The main thing is like just knowing what we're going for here, which is, it's almost like a periodic table of elements, but for art. So maybe that something like this is what I want. Give yourself just a series of thumbnails that lets us see some maybe interesting ideas, you know? The nice thing about a thumbnail is it takes less than 30 seconds, and already we have 3 different ideas that I kind of like, you know. I like this idea of maybe these are like lines coming off the center, and here's our various techniques. We're really just being graphic designers at this point. And then similarly, maybe descending ones that are like long. Don't lock yourself into just a basic grid. If you do just a basic grid, I won't be mad at you. It'll just be a little boring. Maybe I'll mark you down for lack of creativity. But what if each one of these is one of our techniques and stuff? To give you an idea of what one of those looks like, it would be something like hatching. Here's hatching. It's just a series of lines that are kind of similar.